This episode is brought to you by Iterable. You want to be able to do cool things with your emails, with your data, with your customers? Take a look at Iterable. See, they have this thing called an integrated cross-channel solution, which is just a fancy way of saying it was built for marketers, trusted by engineers, and designed with intelligence. You want to be intelligent? You want to be able? Get Iterable.
Happy Friday, Matt Helbig.
What's up, Matthew Smith? Welcome back, Email Geeks, to Feedback Friday.
It's good to be here. It's been a good week. I've been hustling, traveling a lot, but having fun,
Hey, I'm taking the month off. Finally can rest. Long year of emails.
Nice. Awesome, dude. I'm stoked to hear that. I hope you have some good fun. Before you PTO, do you want to talk about Freshly emails?
Of course. I want to learn how to, be a chef now.
Hell yeah. I'm super psyched on these. Man, there's some awesome stuff going. I'm pretty impressed with this GIF. It might be a tad fast for my tastes, no pun intended, maybe pun intended, but definitely shows me very quickly all the possibilities, and I'm slobbering. I feel great about it. And that's, that feels good. One thing to note is that on the whole, there is a ton of live text happening in this email, and this kind of stuff does not usually happen, especially with circles and so on and so forth. And you can see some nice responsive behavior over here. That is hot.
Yeah, that stacking looks really good.
This is a great example where if you're doing this in live text, there's a couple of pieces that are cool here. You can multivariate test these things, right? You can do all kinds of things on the fly. You can change this pricing per customer if you wanted to. You could change the language. You can make it multilingual. There's so many reasons to go live text. And when email, as I've predicted for the last 4 years, moves into its own channel the way that social is, and this content is more searchable and not just stuffed in people's inboxes, then we'll be able to do some amazing things. And those of you who are doing live text now will be way ahead of the curve. Good job. So there's a bunch of reasons to do it. I'm pretty impressed with what they're doing here. I do like this idea too of first, second, third order, telling people, wow, if you get going now, not only is it $60 off, but over the total of 4 orders. And I think as a business, that's getting people to feel the experience of the product in a more sticky way that feels connecting, right? I'm much more likely to really connect with the product and stick with it if I can do it for, these 4 orders, I guess, not months, but orders. So I was impressed with that. Any feedback on the top area?
I love the use of live text. I feel like they might have been doing all images before, so it's great to see for them to do that now. I really do like the strike through effect here with showing the original price. I guess to me, maybe the math is a little confusing. It took me a minute to kind of figure out it is $60 off over the course of multiple orders. So for a Black Friday deal, maybe targeting me in a different way, I guess maybe some language about haven't tried it yet or something like that, if they do have some information about that about me. But overall, I really like that top section. I like the little overlay with that orange icon that kind of stands out. But overall, yeah, I think that's a really positive first hero section. And, leading into here, these animated icons brings my eye down and keeping that CTA consistent. Big fan, especially on mobile. I think it really performs well and stands out.
Dude, they nailed it on these icon and animations. There's a couple things that are working really well. One is they're all very consistent. Good job. 2 is they figured out an animation style that is very consistent. That's hard to do, and somebody knows what they're doing. Freshly folks, if you want to point us to this illustrator, animator, I'd love to connect with them and find out more about the process on this, but it's just really dialed in and thoughtful. Also, I'm noticing that the detail is just right to keep the animations lightweight without them being visually janky. Really nice touch. But just little things check out this microwave with the curvy waves. Somebody really took their time on this. It's so nice. And it's the kind of thing for me as a brand, it makes me feel like I want to trust the brand, What a fun idea of these plates kind of animating through as well. Just nailed it. Then we get this footer section. I think this is the weakest area of the design. From my perspective, I know that this is call, but I think why not just go ahead and call it the phone number, right? And make that just even that much clearer. Telling me I can email, but why would I email versus chat? Like, give me some information, and I don't know what this is. So chat, and then this is like
Their app or something,
maybe like within the app. I don't know. It's hard
yeah.
to know. So a little more detail, like give me a sense of why I would choose which one so that it serves me a little bit more. I do appreciate that they're saying contact us 24/7. I think something even more detailed there, like we are always available for our customers because eating never stops, or something like that. Like people, it turns out people eat at all times of the day, so we're always available. I think there could be something clever and cute and fun there. And then we've talked about this before, but let's connect. It's one of these things. I don't even know that I've seen anybody do this really well yet. So that's sort of a challenge to everybody, including really good emails. But our new email series we're working on behind the scenes does include this. Instead of saying, hey, we're on Twitter, show a recent tweet or show like a recent reply. Instead of showing, hey, we're on Instagram, like show something from Instagram. Same with Facebook, right? Like get people engaged in why this content matters instead of just saying, hey, we're out there. I would love to see a study on that and see somebody, do a split test and an article. If anybody wants to run that on their business and then run an article through really good emails, let me know and we'll talk about it. I think that would be fun, and we love promoting other people's businesses and their writing. So that would be a cool test. The rest of the footer is nice and tight and small, and I appreciate that. I think that's fantastic. And it makes sense why they would include these App Store type buttons. What about you, man? What would you add, change, remove?
I think it's like a templating thing, really, when, especially on desktop, it kind of takes over the full width. It might be a hard example, but I think in both of these situations, they could really extend that color to be the full width of the section if they wanted to. So I think when on desktop, it kind of can look a little weird when you just have a kind of a gray box.
I see in
on
this
mobile,
area.
it feels a lot better, but we've seen some brands extend that color across the width of the email on desktop, getting outside of that 600 width or whatever they're hitting here. I wonder if, as you said, change these colors of these icons to match their brand colors. Yeah, it's one of those things where you really want to pull in some information about that specific channel. But even in this message too, this is a Black Friday offer. Maybe that stuff might be distracting from this offer in general. So maybe this could be a little bit more dedicated just around this offer.
Well, speaking of Black Friday, let's jump over to their other one. So let's maybe compare and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Is this maybe a split test?
I think I got this one right after it. So this is kind of like a little pre-Black Friday teaser mentioning that it's Wednesday.
Yeah, so slightly different. Also a GIF, but this time they're, animating the text, maintaining, sort of this visual of the fridge, which is interesting. Get 60 off, they pull that up. So if we go back here, notice, they've got that down here. I think this is interesting just to see how these two emails perform. If it were me, I would have sent them out on the same day, same time, but to different, like to split your audience so that you could really get a sense, because days could affect performance and some other things. But it's neat to see more or less the same email with some different effects. This is a different section, right? Like that section is not on the other email. So that's kind of interesting. I think I would probably change the CTA here to make that something that's a little more unique, that helps me feel like this section is different. I don't know about everybody else. I kind of have a little bit of ADD in it, and I honestly, this doesn't feel like a very enticing section. Sort of gets lost. And I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the sea of green happening in this email compared to this one. Felt a lot cleaner, easier to scan and read. I don't know. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah, I was trying to decide between the two of these, which one would make me more likely to purchase. I guess it really depends on if you really want to show that $60 off front and center, if that's the big selling point, or if this one feels like a little less of a salesy email. I would actually just enjoyed maybe not having to repeat the gifts again. If you could actually like show me example meals or something in that instead of those icons, I might enjoy that better. The idea around filling your fridge or something here, what you should fill your fridge with. I think something a little bit more like that. I just kind of feel like this hero section throwing this offer at you and maybe it's a little bit too much. So including some more information to maybe make these stand out from each other just because of, how closely they were sent out. I've already seen, half this information already. So
I think that's one of the things that hits for me here is this is the same information here, 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 and here again. I appreciate the how Freshly works because that feels like unique information. But I don't really like being told the same thing 3 different times in 3 different ways. Tell me clearly what the value proposition is and be confident. To me, this feels like it lacks confidence if it's going to be kind of screaming at me. From my perspective, this is, I don't know. I think it would be interesting to test this, to have something that was just very absolutely clear. And I think, too, there's no social proof happening in the view. It's lacking a little bit. And then it is nice, okay, we can fill your fridge, and that's fine, I guess. But why am I choosing Freshly? Because I have no time. That's the thing. So instead of filling my fridge, nobody that I know is like, you know what I'm going to do this weekend? I'm so stoked. I'm filling my fridge.
My fridge is so full right now.
No, it's not, dude. My fridge is more full. Nobody cares, right? People care about, I'm actually, I got, Freshly, and I'm going to save a bunch of time this weekend. So I'm not cooking. I'm actually going to be eating pretty delicious food, but it helps because I'm so busy. Cool. Or save time, spend more time with your family. Saving time really isn't the thing, really, is it? I guess it's really, what do you want to do with the time you get back? Work more, spend more time with family, make more money. I don't know. But filling my fridge, not what I'm here for. I think sometimes little things like that, in some of my talks that we do or that I do, I've been doing recently this jobs to be done talk. And I think it's really getting after exactly what your customer really cares about and then speaking to that with your language instead of having to kind of yell at them and have them interpret what the deal is. So
I think it's tricky because as you're saying, this design looks great. This email is developed great. If the message though feels off, then, the email is not as successful. I think that's one of those things where people are like, how can I get the best looking email? And really good emails, honestly, I think that half the point of the emails that we feature is that it makes sense and provides value to a customer and is serving them more than just, it looking pretty or something. You can have the best looking email ever, and if it just is not resonating with the customer, it still might not, work very well.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Well, overall, I think this is a strong email. I think they've done a lot of things really well. All of us can continue to learn, right? We can all keep improving on some of this stuff. So good job, folks. Well, have a great weekend, my friend.
Well, have a good one. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, man. We'll talk soon.
See ya.
Bye.
If you have any feedback on the series, please leave a comment down below. Hit subscribe to keep up with future episodes. Thank you for giving a listen and letting our sponsors know you love really good emails.